Picture this: a luxury department store that insists it's not a department store. Billboard campaigns across Manhattan literally saying, not a department store. It's the kind of retail paradox that only makes sense when you're betting over $1 billion on transforming a 1931 Art Deco landmark in the financial district into, well, what exactly? I'm Maya, and this is the IADS Retail Park. Today I'm joined by Christine, our Director of Markets and Events, who's been tracking Printemps' audacious American debut at One Wall Street. Christine, when Galerie Lafayette crashed and burned in Trump Tower back in the 90s, what makes Printemps think they've cracked a code that eluded their Parisian rival?
Well, Maya, the context is radically different. Galerie Lafayette opened in 1991 targeting 65 to $70 million in turnover and barely hit $24 million by 1993. Customers found it too French, the brands weren't exclusive enough, and operating costs devoured them. But here's what's changed. Printemps isn't paying real rent. They're owned by Divine Investments, backed by the same Qatari family office financing the entire One Wall Street conversion. That's a fundamentally different risk equation.
So they've essentially hedged the single biggest liability that killed Galeries Lafayette. But you can't subsidize your way to cultural relevance. The financial district has historically been a graveyard for luxury. Saks Fifth Avenue lasted less than 5 years there. 10 Corso Como didn't fare better. What's the actual thesis for why luxury works there now?
The residential conversion wave. One Wall Street is the largest office to residential conversion in New York history. 566 luxury condos. Though I should note only 113 have sold since 2021, which tells you the market is complicated. But the area now has over 220,000 condo units. Median household income around USD 170,000. Plus you've got Whole Foods, Lifetime Fitness, the Perelman Performing Arts Center. Condé Nast moved offices there. Fashion labels like Theophilio and Bode are setting up nearby. The entire district is gentrifying into a residential cultural hybrid.
That residential density is critical, but here's what I'm wrestling with. Printemps is measuring success by time spent in store, not sales per square foot. They're calling it a hospitality project, not retail. A third of their 4,000 square meters is dedicated to food and beverage. Is this genuinely strategic or just luxury retail's latest semantic game?
It's strategic, but it's also borrowed homework. Harrods research proved that customers who engage with their 26 restaurants spend twice as long in the building and twice as much money. Printemps has appointed chef Gregory Gourdet to run 5 different F&B concepts. The Maison Passerelle restaurant is already being called one of New York's 10 most important openings of 2025, and they're explicitly gunning for a Michelin star. El Corte Inglés did the same thing with Ravio Exo in Madrid's Castellana store and earned their star. These aren't amenities anymore, Maya. They're traffic anchors.
Traffic anchors that also happen to make luxury retail feel less transactional. But let's talk merchandising. They've got 450 brands: Dior, Valentino, Jacquemus, but also niche French artisanal labels like Joseph Duclos and Capulet. No shop-in-shops, everything curated into 10 themed rooms. The Red Room is a shoe salon with trees lighting up onyx tables. It sounds more like Merci in Paris than a department store. Is that differentiation or just aesthetic noise?
It's genuine differentiation if you look at who they're competing against. Bergdorf Goodman, Saks, and Neiman Marcus all operate on the branded shop-in-shop model. Printemps is positioning as the department store, multi-brand curation like a concept store, but with the scale and service infrastructure of a traditional player. They're also integrating vintage, their Saison 1865 private label, and an atelier and repair service for circularity. That mix of high-low, new vintage product service is intentionally Parisian.
And New Yorkers have always romanticized that Parisian curation aesthetic. But here's the cold reality check. One Wall Street is already in financial turbulence. Only 14% of condos sold against a projected USD 1.7 billion in sales. Maclo secured a USD 300 million inventory loan just to manage unsold units. If the residential anchor fails, does Printemps survive?
That's the existential risk. But Printemps has given themselves 2 seasons to prove viability. And their business model is much lighter than it appears. They own inventory, employ staff, run operations, but again, rent is likely negligible or zero. They're also launching a dedicated US e-commerce site, us.printemps.com, to build an omni-channel presence beyond the physical store. So even if foot traffic underperforms, they're building brand equity and digital infrastructure in the world's most influential luxury market.
So it's as much about long term brand positioning as immediate profitability. One last thing, they're targeting 150,000 people entering daily. That's a wild number for a financial district location. Even if only a fraction convert, that's a massive experiential imprint.
And that's the gamble. New York is never static, it's a city that rewards reinvention. Printemps is betting that the financial district's transformation from 9 to 5 office zone to 24/7 residential cultural destination creates a wide space for French inflected luxury hospitality. As Neil Saunders from Global Data said, they're launching at a challenging time with a softening luxury market. But there's definitely a niche to carve out. Whether they succeed or become another cautionary tale, we'll know by the end of 2026.
Printemps opened on March 21st. Spring Day. Printemps means spring in French. Poetic timing for a store that refuses to call itself a store. The complete analysis, including visuals of that stunning Art Deco red room and architect Laura Gonzalez's apartment store design, is available on our Substack. Don't hesitate to connect with us on LinkedIn and Substack for ongoing coverage of how retail is being redefined in real time. You can also visit our website to explore our full archive of industry insights. Thanks for listening. See you next time on the IADS Retail Park